Live from Walk-Ons with Pleasant Grove Takeover. I've got athletic director and head coach Gibson with us, and assistant head coach Coach Gibson with us, and Doty. How's it going?
Pretty good. Can't complain.
Well, we've got another week of football. Tell us how this week's been going for you, Coach.
Really good. We're playing a Saturday game after two Thursday games, so really quick turnarounds. The kids did a great job preparing for those short weeks, and here we are now on a long week, and it's giving us more time to put in a little bit more scheme and stuff, but also giving us a chance to let the kids get their legs under them. So we went pretty hard on Monday and Tuesday, and then cut back really good today, and then we're going to hit it really hard tomorrow and cut back a little bit again on Friday. But we're enjoying the week.
Well, it seems like over the past few weeks you've added a few things on the offensive side of the ball. I talked to some players today. They said that you may have even more coming out over the next few weeks. How exciting is it to be able to start implementing more and more each year?
Well, it's really exciting right now. 2 weeks ago, I think we were all kind of sitting here going, man, are we really going to do this? And when you say adding things, we kind of completely changed our approach. And one thing we were able to do in doing that was, we've been running the offense, the wing T, for the past 12 years. The last 3 years at Frisco, and had great success there. Was able to knock off number 2 Highland Park, which helped us, get this job as coordinators and come here and go to those 3 state titles. And we're really good at what we do, but we think it's time to change because some people have prepared really well for us, and Gilmer and Carthage being 2 of them, just so well coached. And then we think the change fit our kids better. So in the last game of the season, we were able to hire our dad. He's coaching on staff with us, and he helped us implement a new offense. And then Justin, Larry, and myself and him just met countless hours. And the kids, that's what we're saying. We've been in it for 2 weeks. It seems like we've been in it for 2 months. And part of it's because we did a lot of different things in the shotgun earlier this year, but really settled in on a true offensive scheme, and it fits our kids, and it's awesome, man, right now.
Well, talking with some of the kids today, the excitement is definitely in their eyes when they're talking about the offense. But as far as excitement goes, tell us a little bit about the new addition that's going to be built on the north end of the end zone at the high school.
Yeah, that's huge for us. When it comes to facilities, with the bond, we wanted to be able to get some things on campus with baseball and softball and a track, and so that was going to be added in our bond. And they've cleared the woods, and there's a ton of trees that are gone. They've got it scraped to the dirt. All the weeds are pulled, the whole 9 yards. So that's happened. But yeah, we're going to have a huge field house in the end zone, and it's going to have a banquet room over 3,500 square foot that you can have a ton of different functions in, professional development for teachers, the team meals and banquets for athletes and other organizations that'll look out onto that football field. And then right next to it, there'll be a 128-seat stadium seating room. We'll have the training room that's state-of-the-art that will not be rivaled in Texas. And that's for, Stephanie Bridges and the Hawk Healers. They do such a good job, and there's over 20 students in that program, and they're crammed right now. But to bring some of those things in for all of our athletes, and then locker rooms that are going to be awesome. There's some new offices over there because we've got our girls athletic coordinator sitting in a data closet, and so we needed more space, and we just kind of grown out of what was built probably 15 years ago, and it's a good thing. It's an even better thing that our district and our community supported that build, but it is going to be unbelievable. We went to Melissa, which we felt like had probably the nicest facility, and Salina, and looked at what they did. We're using the same builder that built both of those places, and they're going to trick it out. It's going to be state-of-the-art.
Well, the pictures that I've seen from a fan standpoint, I can't wait to see just the audio-visual that is going to be added to the stadium.
Yep.
As far as I'm not going to call it a jumbotron, but we're going to have our own video screen, and to be able to highlight the students and be able to share, information about the game. Coach Gibson, what are you looking at this week as far as bringing to Caddo Mills on the offensive side?
Well, they're a very well-coached team. Obviously, they're 11-0, undefeated, so they're probably playing with a lot of confidence. They got a tradition, and our kids are just excited with the new offense. Like you said, we added things, every week the last few days, and it's just exciting to see how well the kids picked it up, and they're executing really well. And we just want to build off the past 2 weeks, what we've done, really well against the past 2 games. And I think just as long as we, Caddo's going to be excited, they're going to be pumped up to play in the Star and all that stuff. I think we just worry about what we do. We go out there and execute and play hard. Don't turn the ball over, no penalties. I think we'll be fine against Saturday, and I think we'll have a good result at the end of the day.
What do you think adds to the Pleasant Grove offense getting basically 2 extra days since we haven't played since Thursday? We're going to play on a Saturday for you.
Just rest and recovery. Like, we had 2 short weeks, just kind of putting the new offense in. It just seems like this week we got a chance to kind of just exhale for a second, watch a lot of video, learn from some mistakes that were made. The kids can watch video. We can learn upon that, put some new wrinkles in, and just extra 2 days of just rest and recovery. And hopefully our guys are just be excited to come out, Saturday and just, play their best performance.
We mentioned playing on Saturday, but I don't think we've mentioned yet where. But we're going to be playing at the Star.
Yeah.
Some have designated that as Pleasant Grove West. I think that for a while there it even showed up on Wikipedia, thanks to me.
There you go.
But what is your thoughts about taking this team to the Star? You and I talked a little bit before we came on, but just the excitement of the players as well.
Yeah, when it comes to we've played in AT&T 3 times in the last 6 years, and then or 5 years, and then we've played in the Star. This will be our 10th time in the last 7 years. And lost the first game the year it opened to my dad in the regular season, and they were at Frisco, and then we started playing playoff games there. And I think we're 8-0 or 9-0 at the Star. And for our kids, we feel like that's even a better environment than AT&T because you can pack the Star a little bit better, and for a high school game. And it's so loud in there. And then the locker rooms are tricked out just for high school athletes. They have the Cowboy side, and then, everything in the locker rooms, Nike, LED, Texas built, Texas tough. And it's awesome. So when it became a possibility, I asked the kids, I said, do y'all want me to hit up our contact and see if we can get in the Star? And it was 25, yes. And I said, we could play a lot closer to home. And the Star. And that's who it's about. It's about the kids. It's not about us. And to an extent, we want our fans there, but these guys earn the right to play there, and that's what they want to do, and why not? I mean, it's the best facility in the nation to play a high school game at, so we're going to get to go do it again.
Well, and one of the great things about playing this game on Saturday is that it's going to give the fan base the opportunity to make a trip of going to Dallas. So if you haven't got your Christmas shopping done or even started, this would be a great weekend to start and then catch a little Pleasant Grove game in the evening. As you mentioned the fans, you mentioned how loud it gets. One of the things that impresses me the most is the Pride in Motion band. Whenever they start playing in the Star, it gets loud.
So loud.
And to the point where I think that we've even had some referees sort of say, hey, once they come out of the huddle, let's sort of, quieten it down just a little bit.
Yeah, it gets tough in there. And and that's cool because that gives those guys that SEC Big 12 Power 5 experience where it is just blaring and you can't hear yourself think almost, but that makes it special. And I think what makes it more special is when the kids turn back there and look around and see, how much Hawk Nation or East Texas goes and follows them there. And so we want to encourage our community and everybody else to get behind the guys and go support them. And we've got tons of kids that are making a weekend out of it, and they're going to stay there. And they asked, could they do that and not ride home on the bus? And we said, absolutely. I mean, we want them to have good experiences. We want them to also have family time. They're still kids, and some of them are running out of time, those seniors, to spend time with their family. But we want our community to get behind us and show up this week.
And so we know the Star is a special place to y'all. What is your favorite memory so far from the Star from both of you guys, and how do you continue to make more memories in this game this Saturday and help your team grow off of that?
Well, obviously the the first game was memorable just because of our opponent. It was our dad, and we had a special time getting able to coach with him for 9 years in Frisco. Then we both decided to leave him to go to PG, and then a few short years later we're playing across from him, which is kind of cool. And obviously they kicked our butt that year, so that wasn't the best time, but just to be there. Obviously, it's a brand new facility, so anytime it's brand new, you want to be one of the first teams to go play there. So we just wanted to have the opportunity to be able to bring our kids from East Texas to go play in a venue like that, because there's not a lot of stadiums like that in East Texas or in the nation for that matter. So that was probably one of the highlights, just wish the outcome would have been a little bit better.
Yeah, and I'd say, the latter round playoff games, we've won a couple there that where we met Region 1, and winning that game took us to the state title game. And so, I mean, what a feeling. You leave that place, and it's late at night, and you're about to make a long trip home, and everybody should be tired, but you're so jacked up on adrenaline and like, hey, we really did this, and now we've got one more week that we get to go play on the biggest stage. There's just so many. I think they're all awesome memories because they're all playoff wins, but those ones that get a little bit closer to state really stuck out too.
When you bring up community, and as far as our community being the city of Texarkana, we're now down to one. We've got one team left in the playoff, and that being Pleasant Grove. One of the things that I've been so impressed with over the last few years is, as teams start dropping out, you start getting that support across town and some of your rivals that you've got. So, I mean, I expect to see some of our Texas High and Liberty Iowa and Arkansas High fans make that trip to Dallas. What do you see out in the community outside of just Pleasant Grove supporting our schools?
Yeah, I think it's jumped out to us a bunch in 2017. We coached in the Metroplex the decade prior, and people didn't go get behind the other teams. When they lost out, they were done. And there's just so many things to do in the Metroplex here. When we played Salina and Sulphur Springs, and that place was sold out, and you look up and you see coaches from every single school in East Texas, and they're there on your side hoping you knock somebody off like a Salina. That was kind of special for me. And I do think, even talking to the guys that are our possible next-round opponents, we've got one in center who used to be in our district in East Texas. I think we pull for each other, and East Texas is a special place when it comes to football and tradition, and there's so many tradition-laden programs that have been there at the 3A, 4A, 5A level, and so I think folks get behind you, and I think that's what makes it cool. And at the end of the day, it's football. You'd rather go watch it than stay at home, and then they're all kids. Wherever they're at, they're good kids at all of the schools. The ones that don't make it as far as this, that, and the other, but you're going and supporting kids and community and people
Well, there's different games each year that I sort of circle early. And, of course, we really don't know who we're going to play in the playoffs. When I started seeing the bracket layout, how it was, and I saw how Caddo Mills was going to be, down the road, the last time we played them is one of the few games where I literally hurt.
Yeah.
And so with this being a rematch, and we've got some players that were on that team, I anticipate there to be a little bit more emotion going into this one just to sort of get that rematch play. I mean, what have you done this week to prepare that aspect of it?
Yeah, I think the kids know and respect Caddo Mills because that year they were 12-0 going into the game. And you say you're hurt, you hurt after the game. We did too. But we were also physically hurt. We had Marcus Landon out. Logan had 200 yards in the first half, and we were rolling along, and he gets hurt on the last play and can't play the second half. We lost the tailback in that game, and so many of our guys were playing both ways, and we were just trying to, get through the game, and then, boom, we score at the end to take the lead with a minute and a half to go, and then they score with under a minute and a half to go, and it was gut-wrenching. But I think our kids – felt that pain. Bordley was a freshman in that game, had an interception, did a really good job. We also fumbled the ball inside the 25 on the first series where they got the ball and scoop and score and gave them one. So there were things in that game that could have gone differently, but I think there's a healthy respect for Caddo Mills, and I think our kids are also really hungry to go play them again.
Well, coaches, we appreciate the time, and we're going to get some of the players on to sort of drill their brains and see what they've got going on this week. And we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back shortly.
Life is busy, and we get it. The State Bank mobile app was designed to make banking more convenient for you. Check account activity, make transfers, pay bills, and manage your debit card in a snap. You can deposit checks from the convenience of your home or wherever life lands you. The State Bank app lets you organize your accounts, manage alerts, and easily email our customer service experts. Now that you have State Bank at your fingertips, you can spend more time doing what's important to you.
Your family, your bank, State Bank.
We are back live with some of the players of the Pleasant Grove Hawks, and I'm actually going to allow them to introduce themselves. We'll start on my end and go towards the end.
I'm Jalen Borley.
I'm Jaden Stewart.
Big Shaw.
And Vic, tell us about what you expect to see this coming Saturday from this offense that Caddo Mills has.
I mean, what I expect to see is just a lot of turnovers. A lot of turnovers and big plays from Andy and a win.
Well, how about you?
Well, I'll say the same thing. Like I said, if we come out hot, the game over with before it even started.
Well, Jaden, one of the things that we definitely wanted to share is you got a little news this week from Hendricks.
Mm-hmm.
Share with us what that news is.
I got my first official offer, and I mean, that's really big to me because I mean, I really wouldn't have expected that. And I mean, it wouldn't be possible without my teammates and my coaches. And I mean, that's just really big to me. It's like special.
Well, one of the things that I've enjoyed seeing is just, your explosiveness on the offensive side. I think you're 449 yards so far, with rushing, and you haven't been 100% the whole season. And so what do you expect to see? And I know that there's going to be some wrinkles and different things that added to the offense. What have you experienced the last 2 weeks with this change in the Pleasant Grove Hawks offense?
I mean, it was a big change for everybody, but I don't think it was a big change for our backs because, I mean, our backs are super versatile. I mean, you got me, Danner. I mean, even though Danner's, like, really not with us anymore. But me, Danner, Borley, K-Mac, I mean, it wasn't really a big adjustment to us. I feel like it was more of an adjustment to our line, who, like, pretty well adjusted to it, like, first week. And something I expected Saturday to see. And, I mean, same thing against Van. I mean, I trust my teammates. I feel like they're going to do their stuff on both sides of the ball.
Well, as far as the assignments and different things that the line had to learn, what have you seen that's just allowed you to have the confidence knowing that with this change you're still going to have some success?
I mean, I trust my line in blocking. I mean, I ain't never got to tell – I don't really have to tell them to, like, block or get your man or anything because, I mean, most of my runs, like almost 100% of my runs are positive yards for, like, all the backs.
Now, Vic, I know that we love to see you on the defensive side of the ball, but you're sort of making a splash on the offensive side as well. What does it mean to you when you're able to get on offense and get in that tight end spot?
It's fun. Just, I mean, be able to run a route, catch a pass, and score a touchdown. And I mean, it's just fun. And getting to celebrate with them, it's fun.
And then, Jaden, you kind of alluded to it, Danner being out. with the ACL. Kind of talk about how you and Bordley and K-Mac and everybody in the backfield has kind of had that next man up mentality and kind of taken over where he left off.
I mean, none of the backs, we don't think it's a jump from any of the backs. Like, none of us think we're better than each other. Like, we all know we're going to get our opportunities to get on the ball and touch them. Like, get on the field and touch the ball.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Bordley?
I'll say the same thing he said. I mean, like, everybody in our backfield, like, they know what they're doing. So, like, when it's your turn to get up, like, you better show us what you can do. So, that's all, really.
Very impressive performance from the defensive side, Vic. Kind of tell us what you saw last game. Double-digit tackles. I don't think you allowed like a true first down until like the second quarter last game. So kind of tell us how you kind of keep up that pace and get ready for Caddo Mills.
I mean, first off, the D-line, like, they played amazing against Van. So shout out to all of them. Lance, Jamon, I mean, freshman in, Jalen, like, all of them did their thing. And, I mean, that just comes from practice. So, I mean, that was a good game against Van, but against Caddo, I mean, it's just keeping the same energy. So just going down and playing hard.
Gotcha.
Well, Caddo lost their starting quarterback 2 games ago with a collarbone, and they had a sophomore come in this past week who got his first start. He's got some legs. What are y'all going to be able to do, or what's your game plan to sort of contain him and make him, give the ball to the rest of the players?
I mean, like I just said, just playing hard. I mean, like, we know what we're doing. We know the calls. I mean, we trust in Coach Darby and Coach Taylor to get the right calls in. So, I mean, it's us just –
everybody doing their job.
Yeah, everyone doing their job. So that's what it's going to come down to.
Well, one of the things about everyone doing their job, the three of you on here all have offers now, and one I know has actually made a commitment. But congratulations to that. I know that you are going to have a good week. Continued success. I'm hoping that we're playing December 16th, but there's a little more that y'all have to do before we get to say that out loud. But we're going to take a quick break and come back with 3 more players. And guys, y'all have a great week.
Certainly.
Thank you.
We are excited to announce here at Texarkana Emergency Center and Hospital that we have expanded our capabilities to better serve our community. As a hospital, we have the capability for inpatient services. After your outstanding emergency care, we can smoothly transition you into one of our new inpatient rooms that have telemetry monitors in every room to continue your concierge medicine care. While our patients continue receiving their care in their inpatient suites, we also make sure that your loved ones are taken care of with our outstanding facilities. Our added services include a procedure room and also the capability of MRIs. With our imaging, we are able to offer outpatient, inpatient, and emergency room, MRI, CT, ultrasound, and X-ray. We are honored by your support and look forward to serving all your future medical needs.
And we're back with a couple more Pleasant Grove Hawk players at walk-ons. Gentlemen, how are y'all doing?
Good.
Got Lance Jackson and Akari. How's life treating you?
All good.
A little bit better this week?
Oh, yeah.
Got a little phone call this week?
Yes, sir.
Tell us about any good news that you've gotten this week.
I mean, I got an offer from Texas Tech this morning. I mean, I'm just blessed to have this opportunity.
And from what I've been told, it's sort of open-ended. It's not necessarily just an offense. It could be 2 different positions.
Yeah, they recruited me as an athlete.
So there's nothing wrong with that. And tell us what you've been doing since last Thursday night. What type of game plan are you looking at being able to execute this coming Saturday?
I mean, I've just been trying to stay consistent at practice, get everybody going. I mean, just go in and do what we did last week.
Well, Lance, tell us from your aspect what you like about the changes that you've seen in this offense over the last couple of weeks. I know that you've been used a lot more in the receiving role. I think you got well over 250 yards in reception yards so far. What's been your experience the past couple weeks?
I like it a lot more because, like, I feel like I can show my talent more in the new offense. Like wing T, you see every now and then, but now, like, I have more chances to show it, and I get to move around more because I'm, like, in the backfield, and y'all get to see Carr run more. I like it way better for me.
Well, what have y'all done this week that's been different than the previous weeks? I know the last 2 games have been short weeks because y'all been playing on Thursday nights, but this one's going to be Saturday. What sort of changed for y'all the past few days?
I mean, nothing much. We've been, like, doing the same stuff at practice, just preparing. I mean, we've been installing more since we got more time, so that's pretty much it.
Well, one of the questions that I like to ask the guys that play both sides, and I'll ask both of you, which side do you like playing better, defense or offense?
That's a hard one. I really don't know. I just like to play ball.
For me, it's really just whatever game it is. Like, different games, I like defense more. Different games, I like offense more. It just changes.
And then, Akari, kind of talk about how this offense has changed. I know beginning of the year at Brock, you didn't have a single pass attempt at all, and now you're throwing for 4 touchdowns against Van. Kind of tell us how you've expanded and just grown into this new offense and grown as a quarterback as a whole.
I mean, I really like it a lot. It gives us a chance to get our athletes in space, and just give everybody a chance to make a play.
And then, like your athletes, Lance over here, kind of tell us what it means to be one of those tight ends that he looks at, you and Vic especially, kind of his go-to targets, being bigger than everybody else and kind of can get up there and make those plays whenever needed.
I mean, yeah, when you got a target like Lance at 6'6", and then Vic at 6'4", 6'3", I mean, that's an easy target to hit. So, I mean, they're just always open.
Yeah, I just tell Carr, look for me. I could be his last look, his first look. I'm going to be open, throw it to me.
Yeah, I would love for game day to be able to capture the footage of the free safety or the strong safety's eyes right when y'all catch the ball. Like, oh, no. These 2 guys are fixing to roll towards my direction.
I want to see what they looked like for that Torion catch last week where you kind of just mossed over those 2 defenders over that Hail Mary that you threw on 4th down.
Well, what do y'all know about this Cattle Mills offense as far as what type of preparation have y'all done for them this week?
They're big. It's really just like Van. Like, their offense is basically just like Van. They got more counters. But if we just do what we did last week, it's basically the same game plan. Just go out there and play.
I say a quarterback went out, their starting quarterback, so they're starting a sophomore against us. I mean, he's pretty good. He can throw and run the ball. But if we just contain him and our DBs do what they're supposed to do, it's going to be a long night for him.
Yeah, he only had 5 rushing touchdowns last week.
Yeah.
So coming in as a sophomore, he at least did well for their team. And the thing is, you're playing 1 week at a time. So, he got them to the next step. I do think that their offense has not played a defense like Pleasant Grove so far. And so I think that's going to be the true test. Looking at some of their opponents that they've played this year, I do think that the efficiency that you have had this Pleasant Grove offense all season long, I think that efficiency is going to be able to continue. In regards to basically every series that you get the ball, you're going to put the ball in the end zone. The question is going to be the defense. And, like I said, I don't think that the defense that they've faced so far has been to the level that Pleasant Grove. And I do think that that's going to be, one of the tales of a Pleasant Grove victory.
And then Lance having 8 tackles, 2.5 tackles for a loss last week. You're saying it's a pretty similar offense as Van. I mean, kind of how do you just have that same sort of game, continue to get in the backfield and cause pressure on this quarterback that likes to scramble?
I really can't just worry about it too much. I just got to do my job. I mean, they'll come. Last week was doing my job. Plays came to me, made tackles. So I don't really got to think that much about it. Just do my job and they'll come.
And having so many weapons on that defensive line, you, Jamon, Vic, all those guys, kind of how does an offense kind of look at that and be like, where do we go? I mean, there's so many powerhouses on your defensive line. What does that mean for that defense?
It makes it so much easier because when me and Jamon and Vic do our job, it helps our linebackers. Then I can get Jamon sacks, Jamon get me sacks because we're giving pressure every play. So it just makes it way easier for our whole D-line, our whole defense.
Mm-hmm. Well, Kari, one of the things that excited me at the end of last week's game is we got to start announcing so many new players some younger players that were able to get some time on the field. But what I saw on the sideline is that you and some of the others were just as excited watching them have some success. Tell us about bringing up these young men, some of them that were on the freshman team, JV team, but now they're on this playoff run for you. Who do you think might make a difference between now and the very last game of this season that really hasn't had a lot of accolades so far this year?
I mean, most of the younger guys, they're all like pretty good athletes. I mean, they really deserve to play because they come to practice every day and serve for us on the scout team. And, I mean, you can just look forward to any of them coming in and making a play.
Now, is there a particular player on the scout team that you sort of keep your eye on, like I sort of have to keep my eye on him, or is he going to come and knock my clock off?
I mean, no, they ain't coming for me like that.
He's afraid Walker Wright's going to take his job at starting quarterback.
No. That's right. That's right.
Hey, there's an O-line, KJ Greer.
Yeah,
he's a healthy boy. He's going to be fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
And that's one of the things that I visited with Coach a little bit before. And I only want to really focus on Caddo Mills, but next year's looking good too.
Yes, sir.
So, well, we're going to take another break and bring on another group of guys to talk Pleasant Grove Hawk football, and we'll take a quick break. And we are back at Walk-Ons for the last segment of Pleasant Grove Hawk Takeover. And I'm going to let center Matthew Thomas introduce who we've got with us.
So I'm Matthew Thomas, center. This is R.J. Collins, and this is Caden Allen.
Well, what have y'all been doing since last Thursday night to prepare for this Saturday night football game?
I'd say mostly offense because, our defense is locked down right now. We're adding a lot of new stuff to our offensive scheme. I think it's going to be a very hard offense to stop.
Well, Caden, what have you seen as far as the biggest difference the last couple of weeks with your role?
Well, in the week two, I pull almost every play, and now we're adding some more concepts, new concepts, and I'm zone blocking or whatever, and it's pretty nice. I like it a lot.
Well, how much have y'all had to learn just over the last 2 weeks, or maybe even 3 weeks to really put this into play?
It's been a lot, but the coaches, they make it easy on us. So shout out to those guys too. Yeah.
Well, tell us, RJ, tell us about some news that may be new to you and new to us that came to you this week.
I received my first offer to Hendricks this morning. I'm thankful for them for giving me the opportunity, and hope to one day get to see myself playing in the future some more.
Well, one of the things that I've seen as far as this offense is being able to get you more involved and have you more of an impact player on that offense. What does that mean to you, just knowing that you've got this line in front of you and you've got Akari in the backfield to be able to get the ball to you?
Yeah, I think it means a lot. These other guys, they work so hard just to, help others and just work on their craft, to help us, exceed in the games, and that we're very selfless, and that I think that I'm thankful for these guys and for our coaches, getting me involved You know, I missed the first 5 games due to an injury, and I love that this team still embraced me when I came back. So, thank you.
Well, what's funny is when you look at the stats, you've already caught up with most of them. So that's one of the interesting things that I see in you just for the remainder of this season. I don't think the teams have seen enough of you. Therefore, they're not planning for you, and I think you're going to have a couple of eye-opening opportunities over the next couple of weeks and hopefully late into December. But I know that you play a little bit on both sides of the ball. Which side do you prefer to play on?
I like playing both sides, you know, but, you know, I love receiver. I just always been playing it. I've always felt, you know, more natural. But, you know, coach also puts a lot of belief in, you know, a lot of guys, including myself, that, you know, just being an athlete, that you can play both sides and that you can go make, you know, those plays, those winning game-changing plays.
Well, as a Pleasant Grove fan, you know, one of the things that I've looked at over the last, I'd say even 10 years, and one of the things that other schools have really tried to take advantage of is the perceived weakness of the defensive backs of the Pleasant Grove Hawks. And this is the first year going into the season where I was like, yeah, that's not the case anymore. And so when you've got this defense is ginning right now. So, I mean, you know, when you've got the defensive line that you've got the defensive backs that you've got, and we've had some injuries come up on our linebacking role, but we've had young men. Logan Holt has you know, stood up and taken one of those roles, and he got an offer today from Hendricks. So tell us a little bit about what you see from a defensive back and the success that you see this defensive line and the linebackers have before the play even gets to you.
Right. I think that, you know, a big shout out to those guys, you know, the front seven. They make it way easier for us to only cover a guy for about 2 seconds. And they're back there in the backfield. You know, coach almost just tells us, you know, just guard the receiver because our front seven is so dominant right now. They're getting back there at the quarterback, stopping the run. I think pushing back on some of those kick blocks. And, you know, with them, I just think that it makes our jobs a lot easier. You know, I think our DB room is very talented with our safeties, our nickel backs, our corners. I think that we shocked a lot of people this year coming in, and I think that our front seven has helped us out a bunch.
Well, as far as growth from the very first game of the season till today, I think, in my opinion, the offensive line has grown the most. Oh, yeah. And y'all have definitely gotten to the point where, you know, it's going to be tough for defensive to be able to get y'all as far as, you know, the better end of a play. But what I'm seeing now is some of the same things that I saw in 17 and 19, that the offensive line on a running play is continuing to get down the field, and they're getting those blocks on the linebackers, they're getting those blocks on the safeties. Tell us a little bit about how much gas y'all have to be able to play a full game like that.
I'll say it's a lot on the conditioning. Mondays after practice, we line up and run. I'll say we don't enjoy it, but once we do it, the coaches, they make us do it. We're better off for it. We don't cramp as much, and we have more juice. This new offense, we're running a lot more. We're basically zoning every play, and I think this conditioning has really helped us a lot.
You know, I just want to say, you know, because how hard we practice. You know, we practice really hard. So I think that helps us a lot as far as, like, putting gas in our tank and we can go longer.
Mm-hmm. And one thing that I want to praise about this entire team, but especially our line, is how disciplined you guys are. Very few penalties, no silly mistakes of false starts, holding. Kind of how has that growth of your offensive line continued to grow from there, and how have the coaches put that discipline into you to kind of all be on the same page?
I'll shout out our scout team. I think we truly have the hardest scout team in Texas. I think our coach is Coach Darby. He has a scout book, and he'll even make them yell out like motion and shift. And we kind of go through it. We did like a whole week of yelling motion and shift, and we don't jump anymore. I think we're truly, like, from last year to this year, at the point we are now, we're much more disciplined on the O-line.
Are there times where after a play that you still sort of have to take control and maybe remind one or two or three of them, hey, let's focus, let's be a goldfish, forget that last play, but, you know, let's get back into it? Yeah,
especially last week we had a couple of false starts, and I kind of had to, like, bring the whole line up together and say, kind of have a come to Jesus moment. I say, it's not happening again, and it didn't.
Well, that's what's so fun is just to see how this team has progressed from day one till today, and wish y'all continued success, and congratulations on your Hendricks offer, and I'm sure there will be more to come. And that's going to be it from Texarkana Game Day tonight at Walk-Ons, where we had Pleasant Grove Takeover. And please make the trip to Frisco, where you can watch the Pleasant Grove Hawks face the Cattle Mill Foxes on Saturday at 7 p.m. at the Star.